Penang, my new home. Wherever I roam, this place is my own. Penang, my new home.
How many people does it take to change a light bulb? Well, only one. And is the same number of people to impact global economy? Only one? If that one person happens to be the President of the United States. And unfortunately, the action of the President of the United States lately is getting everybody very anxious, very worried. Just last week, I created a video where I spoke of America's impact on Penang's economy in 2025. And now, just a few days ago, they announced that Malaysia is one of 15 countries which have a trade deficit with the United States. And so we are at the front line of being hit by tariffs. When we look at Malaysia's export to the United States, the majority of it for this present time would be the semiconductor industry, the chips and so on that is made over here in Malaysia and particularly in Penang. I'm looking at the countries that will be impacted by the tariff which the American president will announce on the 2nd of April. Yes, he likes to do things in a very dramatic way without any concern of how this will impact people, whether globally or domestically in the United States. So, the countries that will be impacted are China, no surprise, Mexico, Vietnam, Ireland, Germany, Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, Canada, India, Thailand, Italy, Switzerland, and Malaysia. And in the case of Malaysia, I am very anxious that the place that will be impacted the most will be Penang, because Penang is the heart of the semiconductor industry for Malaysia. And in particular, we are even in the process of building an island for the semiconductor industry, which we call the Silicon Island. And I just happened to pay a visit to the site just a few days ago, and you will see that work is ongoing on the Silicon Island with the expectation that we have an unquenchable market, which is the United States, to which we may export to. But if out of the blue that particular market disappears, then we are building things that nobody wants or nobody is ready to mop up. And that will impact not only the semiconductor industry, but everybody else, because it will trickle down. And for us who are in the real estate industry, we will definitely see an impact. Even though for real estate agent, it doesn't matter where the property is going up in price or coming down in price, because they earn by commission. As long as people are buying and selling properties, the real estate agents will make a living. But for those who are already holding on to properties, it may impact the price of the properties in Penang. And so that is of great concern for us because of the uncertainty that has been introduced here in Penang, here in Malaysia, globally, as well as at the United States. So everybody is impacted by the action of just one person. If I were the President of the United States, I would not have put in drastic tariffs immediately. I would possibly put it in maybe gradually, perhaps like 0.5% on the first month, 1% on the second month, 1.5% on the third month, and so on. I would not like slap a 20% tariff immediately, because this drastic action catch people by surprise and it's impossible to take immediate action. On the other hand, if it were a slow ball where the heat is turned on gradually, then at least the various companies can make plans to relocate. Relocation is not, of course, to our benefit here in Penang, but the American plants who are building their plants here and manufacturing here in Penang can at least take time to plan ahead, because you cannot build a plant to manufacture things overnight. We take time to do it, and so in the interim, the tariff is going to hurt the American consumers as well as over here the people who are manufacturing. If it were gradual, then at least the companies can plan ahead and perhaps build plants over there. In our today's world, Penang is part of a global supply chain. That is to say, to have a completed product, we are just part of the conveyor belt of processes. We don't do everything. One country do A, what another country does B, and another country does C, and this is all assembled together to form a product. So to have a tariff on a certain part of that global supply chain will also, at the end of the day, impact the entire price of producing that product. And that is something which I wish the person who made the decision would think through carefully. If you look around in Penang, you will see that very few companies are from China. But why aren't there Chinese multinationals here in Penang? Why are there so few of them? Well, the answer is quite obvious. Why build here when you can do it much cheaper in China itself, and to have everything within arm's reach? So there is no global supply chain for many China things. It is a regional supply chain where items were built all over China in different provinces, assembled, and it is a completed product. In other words, they don't need us. China would not need us, except that if it is cheaper, it is more beneficial to produce in Penang and then to ship it back to China. So as you can see, how worrying is this development. So now, what can we do about this? In the short term, I would say there isn't much we can do. We have already seen that the storm is coming, but it is not a time that we start to build a house to shelter ourselves from the storm. We just have to face that storm. So April 2nd is going to come, and maybe the storm is not as bad as we fear it. I do not know. I'll continue to report on it as the time comes. But in the interim, we just have to face this storm and make our moving forward. In Penang, if we lost this major customer, which is the United States, we don't have time to diversify to any other countries, because everything was built for the sake of exporting to the United States. And that I'm talking about the whatever is produced by our semiconductor industry right here in Penang. So although Penang, Malaysia, and ASEAN country is a fast growing region, we are not ready to be a major market. Yes, we are growing, but it takes time to be the size of the United States. And about the tariff, could our government subsidize by paying the tariff? That is unlikely to happen too. The tariff will be paid by the American consumers when the item arrives at the country and enters the country. Yeah, how much can our government pay to subsidize this? It is unrealistic to think that we ourselves, our government, will pay the tariff So it becomes some form of a subsidy for the American public so that they do not have to pay the tariff. That's not going to happen. The most likely is the American consumers are going to pay, and prices in America is going to go up. And this is going to happen quite drastically because the American consumers are completely dependent on manufacturing that appears outside America. So the goal of the president, which appears to be the sensible goal, is to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And to me, if I were him, I would do it gradually so that the companies have time to build factories in America and everybody else have time to find other solutions for themselves. But if this is being done immediately, let's see what is going to happen on April the 2nd, 2025, and I will keep you updated.
Penang, my new home.